BLTs. About 13 of them. I said BLTs.
Real basic, not
Yeah.
that slap shit.
No.
What's going to be easiest for you?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
What's easiest?
Hey, you're all pretty easy.
Well, fettuccine, you just got to boil the water, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't, BLTs. You got that BLTs? I'm for BLTs. I don't care.
Yeah, do the fettuccine.
No, you want BLTs. I know you want BLTs.
No, you want
No,
fettuccine.
BLTs is fine.
Hey.
Hey, I'm doing the BLTs.
Okay, do the BLTs.
Should I make a few onion rings or something?
Nah, I don't need onion rings.
Okay.
If you want them, you make them, but I don't need them.
Okay.
All right, baby. Okay, so there we are. Now this holds all the little cutters for the router that I built into the top of the table saw. So that's what that is. Let me close this back up. There. Oh, I should have done that a long time ago. Okay. Let me put you guys down for a minute. Here, I'll put you on the tripod. Oh boy, you're on the tripod. There you go. I'll put things over here, because if I put them over here, I'll start to put things away. If I leave them here, I forget them being here, and they'll never get put away. And here I am hanging onto some little rubber things that I'll never use. So I just threw those away. I threw them away. Let me put this box over here. I do have, where'd I put it? Oh, right here. Okay. I gotta put this compressor back. I think that's all set. Now this, the reason why this is out, I was thinking about bringing an air line across the top of the ceiling and hook this up to it. So if I need air right here, I got it. So that's kind of why this is here. And I do have an air line that I can put up there that I can trust. Chris, across the way, gave me this, well here, it's easier for me to show you over here than it is to take it off. Gave me two of these 25 footers, and this stuff is stiff. I mean, yeah, I mean this is tough stuff. So and I got another outlet back there. So if I was to bring that up and across through, it'll probably take me 20 minutes to run it over here. And then I got air when I need it. And if I need more, well, I've got this on the floor, but I can put that back there where it belongs instead of having it all out here. I don't even know how I got it here anymore. Where the hell does it go? I know it goes from point A to point B. Oh, it doesn't because it's plugged in right there. I was saying, okay, wait a minute. I'm losing it, guys. I lost it. Never mind, I'm losing it. I lost it. So the camera, as much as I really don't think it was worth the money, the cheaper one that I have does just as good. I mean, well, you've seen what I did with this side-by-side comparison. It does do a little bit better. I can't take that away from it. And it does have the zoom. So I think, you know what, let me just keep it. It's not worth going nuts over it. Because then I'm just have to go nuts looking to buy another one. And I'm not one much for returning things either. Something I never really got into. Being in business myself at one time, you kind of start to understand, you know, a little bit, you know, especially when something comes back. Well, don't tell me there's more paperwork here. Okay, that's that. State Tactical. Okay. Pad. State Tac. This goes over here. This great little container guy. If you ever buy these, first they're good too, especially if you put some powdered sugar on them. But the containers are great to have. They are, they are. Now this stuff is that reflective, and it's a government approved one, because they do have them, but they're not government approved. Yeah, that does what? Yeah. So the only reason why I had that in the red, normally I wouldn't have bought it, but I was doing some work for a couple of factories and they needed some signs put up, and some of it had to be with that stuff, and OSHA wouldn't pass it if it wasn't. But I took a piece of it. See what I did here? Now I'm always sitting up top. There's no light down here. So every time I got to put in a USB or a card, I'm looking. So now I just got to glance down. I see right where the holes are, and I can even find it at night because it glows. Alright, let's put you back over here. Let's get this. A tether. I'm not a great or a big fan of these things. These things can get you in trouble. They can, and they will. This can be used against you as a weapon. So if I were to use this, the first thing I would do is put a couple of bra snaps, you know, the little snap ones on the back. So if somebody were to yank it, it'd pull off. Or even a regular upholstery snap. I had a couple of jobs that I was working where we had to wear a tie. But it wasn't a place where you wanted to really wear a tie. Now, we could have wore the snap-ons, which I hate. I'm not a big fan of the snap-on ties. They're not long enough, and they're ugly. Well, they used to be. I don't know if they make them any better now or not. So I bought some regular ties. Well, actually I had some, but I bought a few extra because I didn't want to ruin the ones that I had. And I tied them, and then I loosened it up just a hair, and then I had the wife cut the back and sew two snaps on them. So when I put it down and I put the collar down, you didn't even see the snaps. But if you yank on it, it would unsnap. Okay, so if you guys don't remember what I did with this is a table saw. that's dirty. Dust, sawdust. And what I had done was I installed the router into it. Turn you around. I didn't mean to do that on you guys. So that it becomes, because I had no room for a router table. I have a router table somewhere around here. Yeah, it's out there. I use it as a step stool. But where do you put it? You know, when you're tight for space, you have to start improvising a little bit or consolidating. So there's a word for you, consolidation. So what I did was I had this plate. Underneath this was grid work. Here, take a peek. I don't know if you can see up there in the dark or not. So I cut part of the grid out so that I could fit the router up in there. And I bolted it to the plate. And then I just dropped this down inside. And then I bolted it through with the screws here. I didn't want to weld it. The screws here. I countersunk it a little bit, put the screws in. Then I went over them with the grinding wheel a little bit so you don't even see them. I do have to get these down a little bit more. Because I noticed the other day when I was doing some routing, that right there, it kept getting caught. So I had to keep giving it a little nudge. But it works fine. You know, I can adjust everything right from here. It's right there. You know, come up here, loosen it, bring it up or down, tighten it, pull the button down, boom. It's not plugged in, so it's not going to start. And away I go. And I can use the fence if I need it. That's one of the reasons why I want to get that rope or that paracord off over here, because now I can bring this over more, where before the cord was there and it was stopping me from using this thing. I gotta put a little grease on that. So, but, or soap. But that's what I did, you know. If I hadn't had this, I would probably have just built it into a counter. You know, if there's a little flat surface someplace, you need it, you got it, boom. You're not wasting the counter space because you can still use it once you put the router down. Once you put the cutter down, you can still use the counter. But it's there if you need it, you know. I could have put it on this thing here, bolted it underneath. It never would have been in the way. I bring it up when I need it, put it back down when I don't need it, right? And just use it. So, you know, screw it in, bolt it, mount it up to a counter space someplace, or your toolbox if it has a tabletop on it. So, but anyway, now I got this mess I got to clean up, but that's clean. Now, this is dirty in here, so do I want to put oil in there? And oil will just collect more sawdust. No matter what I put in there, that's going to happen. Don't need this on here anymore. I rounded that off. I had a sharp end on this corner, and I didn't want to keep bumping into it with my hip, you know, or a wife, or anybody. So I rounded it off, and then I put a piece of rubber on it to see if we were going to bump into it or not, and if we did, we wouldn't have gotten hurt. But haven't bumped into it, so I took the rubber off, because the rubber was also stopping this from going down. So, all right, what do I want to do under here? I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll just put some soap on that and we'll see what happens. I could probably get the polisher out. Let me feel it. Yeah, it does have a little nick in it right there.